Before app, how applications are being built? So that is the question we have to know. So then only you could know the what is the advantage of using the RAP. If you go down here, if you go down here, there will be a hierarchy. How? In the classic ABAP programming, you can written down freestyle ABAP code and the screen programming, which is a module programming. So where we designed our custom screens, right? So we are having a limited set of elements will be there, text, similarly text field, tab strip, table control, custom control. We have limited set of options to design individual screens in the classic ABAP. Okay, classic ABAP. After the classic ABAP, SAP is coming up with the concept called as ABAP programming model for SAP Fiori. Okay, by replacing the screen programming, SAP is coming up with Fiori. And this Fiori, how the full stack application is being built. As I said, the firstly, SAP, by the end of the day, end user has to consume SAP data because they are running their organization, they are integrating with the SAP. So that means by the end of the day, they have to consume their business data only. Where that particular data is available, that data is there in the backend system. But we created a Fiori application in the BTP. Both are different, right? Where you create an application is different, where the entire business data is maintained is different. But how come it interrelate? For example, if I have the sales data directly, can I transfer to the Fiori app which is in the database table? It's not possible. It's not possible. So to overcome that, SAP is coming up with the concept of OData, okay, Open Data Protocol. So where we can create our API, our OData service, whatever the logic you want, whatever the columns you want to replicate in your Fiori app, you can consume in the SAP Fiori, sorry, in that API, in that OData service. Whatever the service which you created, so whenever you are going to create an application in the front end, which is Fury app based, you have an option to select service from the backend system. But the thing is, that backend destination is to be configured to your BTP account. For example, if I use the S23 system is my backend, okay? So you have one BTP account. You created an auditor service in the S23 system. But the requirement is you have to bind that particular service which you created to the Fury app. For example, you can take a sales data. You are creating an API, you are creating an auditor service, and you are binding that into the Fury app. But the thing is, backend data you have to consume. But the prerequisite to have the system or to have the backend service into while creation of an application into the front end, the destinations has to be configured. Okay, the destinations has to be configured. So then only you are allowed to create an application. See how the OData service is created. You can also create SEGW, but as we seen in the CDS views also, here the CDS views. So you can also written down auditor.publish. It will put the, okay, it will create an auditor service, whatever the logic which you return in your CDS view, instead of creating an auditor service from the scratch in the SEGW. We have two different approaches. You can choose the CDS view instead of going for everything from the scratch. It will be better, right? After creating an auditor service, you have to bind to the Fiori. This is the general process to create any SAP full stack application where the data is coming from the back end, creating an application in the front end. This is called as a full stack application. Firstly, you have to create in the back end. After you have to come up with a front end. Okay, this is the basic process how SAP is following. By replacing this also, SAP is coming up with the concept called as RAP, which is ABAP, RESTful Application Programming Model. This architecture, my dear, this architecture, if you don't understand this architecture, definitely you will be in the trouble. You cannot create a simple application also. Okay, you cannot create a simple application also. This architecture, which layer we need to create which one, where we have to written down the logic, where you have to expose that. If you don't understand this points, definitely this costs too much. Okay, listen very carefully. How a RAP application is being built. Okay, firstly, we have to build a data model. Okay, we have to build a data model. So before that, I'll give you the architecture of a RAP. Okay,